What's up, guys? Another edition of Rambling with Rhino, the Atlanta Braves edition. We're moving into Labor Day weekend, and the Braves are up 4.5 games, which I can't believe anybody thought after last season and with no really off-season moves that the Braves would be in this position. Great job by Brian Snitker. I guess the front office for believing in the guys they have. Up 4.5, magic numbers 27, I think Chip Caray said last night. So any combination of 27 wins or Phillies losses, and the Braves will clinch the National League East, which is pretty amazing. The only problem I see with this team, really, and I think everybody sees it, is the bullpen. It's kind of amazing to me, that there's not really one guy, not even one guy that you can depend on to get 3 outs on this roster. Last night, Johnny Venters came back from years past and rejoined the Braves and hadn't given up an earned run in, I think, 17 appearances. And last night he gave up one, and I just don't know what they're going to do. Guys like, Jesse Biddle and Sam Freeman and Luke Jackson, A.J. Minter, Dan Winkler, you just really don't know what you're going to get every night with any of these guys. Losing Vizcaino early in the season, even though he was sketchy at best, he threw really hard and could get some outs. But other than that, you got to be impressed with, the starting rotation. Mike Foltynewicz, who was an all-star, picked up Kevin Gossman, who's been a real shot in the arm, Sean Newcomb, Anibal Sanchez, and then the veteran Julio Teheran have more often than not give them quality starts and put them in position to win. Some nights the bats go silent. They have been shut out a few times. Not very often, but a few times the bats go silent. But, for the most part, the starting rotation has given them, put them in position to win a lot of these ball games. Offensively, going into the season, the only sure thing you really had was Freddie Freeman. Nick Markakis is a solid veteran, but nobody expected him to be an all-star this year, I don't think, and be second in the league behind Freeman in batting average. The biggest surprise for me, I think, is at catching. You get an older veteran like Kurt Suzuki, who's been around for years. Him and Tyler Flowers have did a pretty good job of platooning at catcher. Not greatest offensively, but big hits. Like last night, Kurt Suzuki gets the go-ahead run, and then Tyler Flowers is a home run there in the bottom of the 8th to put the Braves ahead by 4 after blowing the lead the inning before. So good enough rotation there. Platoon catcher. Tyler Flowers has signed an extension in 2020. So good young talent there. And veteran leadership from Suzuki. Infield's been amazing. Freddie Freeman, does what Freddie Freeman does. He's healthy this year. Ozzie Albies has been a shot in the arm, youth, great glove, and also an all-star, 21 home runs, can steal some bags, good speed, good glove, possibly a Golden Glove winner in the field. Shortstop, the resurgence of Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson got sent to AAA last year and didn't know really where he stood. Played some other guys at the position, but he's come back, had some big clutch hits. Doesn't hit for a high average, but he's had some big hits here as of late after the All-Star break, and playing really good defense at shortstop. And then Johan Camargo at third. What can you say about another young guy who nobody really knew about? He's been solid right there in the bottom half of that lineup. Outfield, again, surprise all the way around. Nick Markakis is a solid veteran, but he's upped his game this year. Like I said, batting second average in the National League behind Freeman. A veteran like Ender Inciarte, he's been clutch. At one point, they were going to platoon him because he was struggling, and I think that ratcheted up his game a bit. Because Adam Duvall really don't even understand that pickup. That guy couldn't hit 200, in anywhere. But and then Acuna Jr. I mean, the guy, hits home runs in I think 7 straight games or something like that, and leading off and setting the tone. Big, strong kid, fast kid, perfect in that lineup to get the game started in the leadoff position. And then Charlie Culberson has been Mr. Clutch, is what the guys in the booth call him. Charlie Clutch. He's hit a bunch of big RBIs, home runs. He plays sparingly, but when he's called upon, he does a really nice job. But at some point, with having a top 3 farm system, they tried Max Fried and several other guys to come up, and maybe they ought to take one of those starters and put them in a middle relief role, or maybe even a closer role. It's weird how, Trevor Hoffman came up as a shortstop, and next thing you know, he's got 600 saves and in the Hall of Fame. You just never know. Eggersley was a starter and then a closer. And John Smoltz was a starter, of course, and then he was a lights-out closer, too. So maybe at some point, they got to find somebody who can get 3 outs because, when they go in these playoffs with the Dodgers and, the Cubs and, whoever these wild card teams, could be the Rockies or Diamondbacks or whoever, they're going to need to get those 3 outs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, and you can't expect guys like Sanchez and Newcomb to go 8 innings, even really Fulton Davis or Teheran either. So if the Braves can get some bullpen help, I really think they stand a good chance. The offense is young and energized and can score a lot of runs, but and at the end of the day, I think they're a year or 2 ahead of schedule. 1 year maybe. I think these guys, they got to spend some money this offseason. And I don't know really where you go. Maybe an outfielder, and then definitely some pitching help. I think the rotation is going to be good. You just need to get, if you could go back and get one of the closers that you had at one point, something like that, and have a lockdown 9th inning, and then add some pieces in there for the 7th and 8th. This team could be really good. This could be like a resurgence of the early 90s teams when the young guys came up, mixed in with some veterans, when Chipper and Javi and Ryan Klesko came on. So either way, it's really exciting. Hopefully they can hang on. They got some tough games down the stretch here. Games with the Phillies and games with the Red Sox, which is the team you don't want to see on your roster, or on your schedule. But hopefully they can split with the big teams and then win 7 out of 9 or so against the lesser teams like the Marlins and Mets and Nationals. So either way, it's a positive. Can't wait to see what happens down the stretch right here. Hopefully they can go ahead and cinch this thing up and then, make it playoffs and then build on it from next year. So anyway, exciting for Braves Nation, and hopefully they can find a closer here within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and looking forward to seeing the playoff run.